Okay, on the Microcode emulator. I have had a bunch of questions. Hopefully I can put together a video that helps explain some of these things and answer some of these questions. So it's a web page with an emulator in it, and this stuff is structured vector graphics, including all of the text. But there are things that we can upload from the command line. If I look at where I'm at, maybe not here, but if I go into the assembler, I have two different assemblers now. There's an MCASM or MCASM PC or Linux, depending on what platform you're working on. That's the microcode assembler, and I can run it. Notice that I'm adding an upload flag. Okay, that tells it to take the assembly code that it has created and upload it to the server where you can access it. And down here at the bottom, there is this number. Notice I call that a number. It's in hexadecimal. It's actually the hash of your data. And I can take that and copy that and paste that in. And the place I want to paste it in is load microcode, and tell it which piece of microcode I'm actually going to be using here. I clicked on the wrong thing. Let's try that again. And paste that. And there's a load code button. You have to hit the load code button, but you'll notice that this value right here changed up here in the box that I just made red. So that changed. Now, if I refresh the page, I get back the same value again. And it's important that you make certain that, what I look for is like the first four letters, BF21, and make certain that's a BF21, that I actually got it loaded. Now, there's another kind of code in here, and that's over here in your main memory, and that's your assembly code. So one of these is microcode, one of them is a hex file from assembly. So if I go and do the hex file from the assembly, what have we got here? Homework 2, that's a good one. And again, it has an upload. Okay. We see that it uploads and it gives us this, again, big hex number, whatever that is. And I'll explain what they are in a second, but that is load memory. You notice the box is blue instead of green. That's to help me not get the wrong one in the wrong place and load it, but now I have loaded that. So I have both kinds of code loaded. When I go to do a test, if you have all the instructions working, you can set up a test and you can apply it. But if you're building a particular instruction, it tells you which things there are for that instruction. And hit the second button that says Run Test, because when you hit Run Test, then you can step through it one tick at a time. If you do the other button, it tries to run the entire program until it gets to a halt instruction. So it's kind of important, if you want to work through this, that you do it that way. Now, one of the questions we have is, how do I test this? I mean, what do I do to make certain it works? And you don't have a lot of capability of testing, but you'll notice after a few clicks that I can look at what's in the memory address register, I can see what's in the memory data register, and from that I can know whether or not I'm getting things moved around to where I want them to be in the instructions. So this is kind of a manual testing process. Real processors quite often are automatically verified to prove that they work correctly. But yeah, this is manual testing. But at the end of this, I think I'm running a load instruction there. I've loaded, and guess what? Look at what's in my AC and what's in my MDR. It looks like I've loaded stuff correctly. And the next location I'm going to, the microcode PC, is zeros up here. It's cleared. So it looks to me like I'm correctly loading into the AC and getting the value I'd expect in the AC. Now, as the memory address register gets values loaded, it shows you what the current address is right here in the memory address register. It's pointing at it. and it says, I'm disassembling this code. I'm doing the reverse process of assembly, and I'm disassembling it and looking specifically at what's in that location. Now, it so happens that that particular location 3 in this program is a piece of data, but the memory doesn't know if it's data or code, so it's giving you the value in hex, in decimal, and it's giving it back to you as an instruction, which it thinks is a load 030 hex. That is not what it is, it's data. But it does help you up here at the very first instruction, that's 1001, to say that's a load from address 3, and tells you what's in memory and what the code is that's associated with it. So there is the capability over here of assembling code. I do use this little assembler to assemble stuff once in a while, to build little tiny test programs. The assemble microcode will actually work, but you have to cut and paste stuff in it. It's difficult to get it to work because our microcode is too big to fit on this little screen, at least on my screen, and consequently, it's easier to use the command line to get it to assemble and send up the piece of microcode. If you do run, it's expecting it to run an entire program to halt, which doesn't show you much of the stuff going on in the little lines and what's going on in the registers. What you end up with is a halt instruction at the end, and any output over here that you've generated, and whatever you've done for input. If you're going to use input, you have to put in the input values you're going to use beforehand and collect the input. And then each time the input register gets used, it advances to the next value. So, I might put in 3 or 4 values because I know that's what my program is going to take for input, and then I run it. Then I step through it and tick it. There is a reset button over here that will allow you to reset the program back to 0 and start over. You can also come up here and just refresh the page. It does save what you have currently loaded in the microcode and in the main memory when you reset the page or reload the page. But that saving is per computer. So if you switch to a different computer, it's saved locally. It's not saved on the server because there's no login for this page. And consequently, you would have to reload those values to be appropriate for what you're working on. Now, in the microcode itself, it is relatively important. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. That you go down here to line 32 and you put in your name. The way that this thing tells files apart is because it takes a hash of the assembled code. And a hash is a one-way function that for even tiny changes the value. And that's what it prints out at the bottom when you do that upload flag, is the hash. If you put in your name, then you won't have any collisions with anybody else in the class because every microcode file will be unique. And the last thing that I want to point out is that each line in this, like that line, is 1 tick. It includes this stuff over here on this side too. So it's really, this entire line is 1 tick that's happening in the microcode. A better example is in option add. This set of stuff without MDR, that is 1 tick, and if you want 1 tick, you've got to put it all together on one line.